Hello guys, welcome back to my Let's Platinum Divinity Original Sin 2. So what I did is I waited for 1 hour so the stores reset and I got a new bow for Sabil. Right. So I think we are ready for the final fight. Full disclosure, I attempted the final fight. I deleted that recording because I made such a stupid mistake that I just, yeah, it was not worth for you to, watch 1 hour and see something that stupid. And I'm gonna explain when I'm gonna get there. That's the bow I got. So yeah, looks good. So let's go to the cathedral. So basically, maybe I explain while we go there. So I went to the final fight, and I only knew that I need to focus Brachus Rex, but because I have my AoE guys, I destroy a lot of enemies, but what happens then there is a second fight, and because I destroyed all those enemies from first fight, I was again alone for the next fight. And by alone, what I mean is that... But by alone, I mean that, if the guys from the first fight would stay there, they would fight in between each other, but they were all attacking me and fucking destroy me. Like, it was crazy. So yeah, now I know. So I'm gonna do a different approach this time, but I'm gonna explain when we're gonna get there.
Upon the wall. Upon it is a lone button.
There's a slot in the center of the button. It looks like something should be placed in it.
I place the amulet.
The amulet fits the slot perfectly. The mechanisms around it begin to glow with source.
Produce the scroll of atonement and read it aloud.
The button slowly sinks into the wall, as if pushed by an invisible hand.
The source fades from the amulet, consumed by the inner mechanisms of the button. Gears turn behind the ancient walls, almost like they're acknowledging the words you spoke. A nearby hatch in the floor unseals itself.
Alright, nothing special here. Actually, funny enough, I didn't know that, but we could do this before. There is actually a waypoint as well in here, so I didn't know that, as you can see.
The statue reaches to the bottom drop.
So here we need to deal with a puzzle. So I did it already. So we need to bring all those up there. So what we need to do is we need to put blood down there, which we're going to do. Then what we need to do is bless the blood. So there should be blessed blood down there, yes.
The blessed altar seems to want to be touched.
So move your hand a palm's width along the top of the...
In the space beyond the altar, the pipework shifts.
Yeah, so it's very nice. So this one, if I remember, we need to go to the right. Then up. Then to the left. And up. Okay, so the blood is done. Now let's deal with the, let's say this one. So again, we need to go to the right. Now it goes up. Then we turn right. Then no, this one goes there. So yeah, we need to go here, then up, then turn to the side, and got it. So now this one, so it will go up to the side here, then up to the left, then we need to bring it down to the left, top, okay, and turn right. Okay, done. It, and now lay hand upon the stone.
The altar seems to respond. Beyond it, something creaks, as if the pipework was moving. The sound comes from beyond the altar, but also echoes and gurgles behind.
So I think this will move now. I've noticed there is a chest in here, but how to get there, I have no idea. So this one almost there. Okay, got it, and the blood. Oh, wasn't blessed long enough. So this place is a bit funny. There is like a funny fight in here when we enter, but
Bow to cross very well.
yeah, it just say that we want to get in.
Vent blood to cross very well.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch here. I'm gonna use Ethan to go through the puzzle fast. So the door. And no! Why did you run back, you fucker?
Doctor's atmosphere enabler. Noxious atmosphere enabled.
Okay. So we need to pull those all the levels that will spell the word power, and it doesn't have to be like PO, so you can go. So I'm gonna try this. Just go for that. So we have E.
I heard gears moving.
And then I think we have W here, if I remember, yeah.
Moving to corporeal transposition engine.
Where the fuck?
Corporeal transposition imminent.
Alright.
keep coming. Look around. There's got to be a way to make them.
Why Fane is here? No fucking idea. Okay, so we press.
Look out! I see a trap nearby. Careful now. That's a trap.
There is a hole
Feels
here.
like that lever did something.
So this one we pulled, right?
Careful. I spotted a trap.
There is a P here.
That lever did something. I could feel it.
Ah, because they all connected. Holy fuck. Okay. P-hole. So press this. Ah! Right. Because they all die when we get there.
Careful now. That's a trap.
We only need R. There you go, R.
What's happening? That must have been the last lever.
Careful now, that's a trap. Careful now, that's a trap. Alright guys, so yeah, that was easy enough. So this is the spot where I would
Must be getting closer to Lucian's crypt.
tell you to make a hard save.
Master Vane, I never
Maybe
thought
not
I'd
yet.
see you again. It's been so long since our time together in your library. It's me, Harina. Do you remember me?
Harina, how could you forget? She was your best assistant in the library.
Oh, Master Vane, you were always kind. But more than that, you were always good. Always working so hard for a better world, a more perfect world.
Not in agreement, you did your best.
Your best was not enough then, but perhaps it is now. It's not too late, Master Vane. We can fix everything that went wrong, everything. We could be free of tyrants, free of the Seven, of the King, of the Void, free to live our lives and study the universe again. With your help, we could be restored, not as some twisted monsters, as our true selves. We could be Eternals again.
Ask what could hold back the king and the void.
The powers of the Seven are the key. Once you have claimed them as your own, use them to open a gateway to the void so we may return. We'll take back the source that was stolen from us to restore ourselves as Eternals. Then we'll use the source of the Seven to close the hole they created. And we'll make sure the Void and the King stay on the other side. Together, we can do it. You can right this wrong and restore the Eternals. Please, Master Fane, set us free.
Yeah, so definitely what I would advise.
The truth hangs heavy upon the air itself, unspoken. This is the point of no return. Somewhere beyond this point, you shall be undone, or you shall ascend. There is no middle ground.
Maybe go in. There's gonna be a small talk, and I would definitely make a hard save. Because that fight is hard. Very, very hard. So yeah, win.
Come here often. I don't know what you did, but you just released a source flood. I thought I'd come and see what all the fuss was about. Should have known you were getting yourself into trouble. Looks like the big moment has finally arrived. I will do everything I can to support you, Godwoken. I will pray for you. I think you'll need it.
Respond with gratitude. The prayer will inspire and strengthen you.
Don't underestimate the power of true prayer. This is a place of incredible power where a single prayer holds the weight of thousands. Your heart and soul will fill as quickly as they're drained. Consider it a taste of your divine future. The people will pray for you. In turn, they'll trust you to do right by them, as I'm trusting you to do now. Of course, it's up to you whether or not to listen. I know how I'd respond, but you do you.
Malady wearily chuckles to herself, then bows her head in a show of unexpected but sincere reverence.
Looks like my investment's paid off after all.
I need worship only one divine, and I believe he stands before me now.
You've shown me kindness in the face of my sins. My worship is the least I can offer.
I've always preferred to be the one reaping the attention, but you've turned the tables. I suppose it's only right, seeing as how a new divinity may stand before me.
Now go. Rivellon needs a new divine.
Yeah, so I would actually make a save, hard save here. That's just before the final fight, but we're gonna try to do only to have it not 2 stages and the guys from the first stage to help us in a second. So how we're going to do it is there should be option to give my source away, and we're gonna try to get to that point. So what could we get? So let's try to have some buffs on us. So they cannot knock us down.
Faye.
There you go. Okay.
Godwoken.
Alright, not bad. Okay.
Dallas told me about you. You must be as hard as diamonds, and twice as bright, to have come so far. Your divine welcomes you.
The divine you thought dead lords over the chamber from a granite throne. He moves to speak, but it's Wiedemann's voice that next pierces the air.
What a twist.
Lucian frowns at Wiedemann, then bestows a benevolent smile upon you. All that you know of him flashes across the panorama of your mind.
Lucian, you lying snake! You betrayed me! You used me to bring death to my own people! And for what? To make the world a better place? Look around!
So I don't know if you can see, you see that, I don't want to say an angel, but I killed the one on the side, I killed this one, I killed that assassin, I killed Brachus. So that's why I was in really bad situation.
Ifan, my friend, there were many sacrifices that had to be made. You were but one. Each of them pained me, but I would make them all again.
Lucian, we should tell him the truth.
Yes, I agree. It is time we dropped our masks.
Dallis nods, then reaches for the sides of her head. Where there was one face, suddenly there are four. She takes off the mask of the shapeshifter. A skull is revealed, bejeweled and ancient as the void.
I am eternal.
Aren't they just full of surprises?
Explain that you knew it.
Fear not, Godwoken. Dallis is on the side of all that is good. She is helping me rid Rivellon of the influence of the Source. Listen to her.
I shall tell you the tale as I told it to Lucian. Long ago, the scholar Fane discovered that the veil between the world and the void was made of source. Our 7 lords desired this power.
Of course.
Silence, slave. Our king forbade the 7 to reach for this power, but they didn't listen. Instead, they rebelled and sent the king and his people into the void.
With the Source they stole from the Veil. The 7 created the races so they would have worshippers.
Press on, what happened next?
The 7 made a mistake. By taking its source, they tore a hole in the veil, and it is through this hole that the void finds its way into our world.
The 7's lust for power let in the void. Our goal is to close the hole they created, to restore the Source to the Veil. When we are done, there shall be no more Source in the world. Rivellon will be finally free from the gods that enslaved them.
Demand to know more about their plan.
I seek vengeance against the king and against the 7.
There is more, but she hesitates to share it. Then she decides that she must.
I was a child when the God King tore my family apart. I was purged of source and left to rot in a putrid tomb. A child. It was hell. A hell I suffered for the sins of my father. He was the one that betrayed the God King. He was the one that told the 7 the secrets of the Veil. The cruel joke of it all is that the same tomb that housed my tortured body is what sheltered me from the void. Few Eternals escaped that fate. Myself, my mother, and Fane. Yes, Fane. You are my father.
Dallis gives you a steady look, cool and collected. This is your daughter. You are her father.
Stares her closely. Can it really be her child?
Your child rotted away in a tomb, just like you, father. Look at us! We are all that remains. But now I have revenge. Revenge on the 7 and the God King. Revenge for what they took from me. My life. My people. My mother!
The hammer's voice falters and her coolness vanishes. Every crack and rasp betrays her grief. But her next words burn not with sadness, but anger.
Did you even look for me? Did you even look for her?
Dallis, control yourself. Our purpose transcends your personal wounds.
Yes. You are right.
Dallas's reasons weren't mine to question. All that ever mattered to me was peace. Peace for Rivellon. Peace for me, whatever the means. And now, we are on the precipice.
I don't know, let's try that. I didn't try that before. Apologize to your daughter. You didn't know, how could you?
You wish to apologize? We have moved well beyond apologies, father. Your actions led to this moment, and all the moments in between. Every purged sorcerer, every family torn apart by void. All of it. You have but one path to atonement, and Rivellon has but one path to redemption. You must give up your source. You must be purged.
Lucian wants peace, as how their brutal actions were meant to achieve peace.
While Dallas sought the Aetheran, I started draining the gods of their source.
Slurp, slurps.
One more word from you, and I shall use the leash.
I had to hide from the gods. So I had the walls of this crypt equipped with tenebrium and protections put in place. It worked. Everyone, even the gods, thought me dead. As divine, I was created, empowered to stop the void. I was the avatar of the Seven, their strength and their weakness. My bond to them allowed me to drain them of their source.
Address Redman directly. He's the Source King and slave, and his name is Brachus Rex.
Maggot. I am no slave.
With a flick of her wrist, Dallas sends a jolt through Brachus's body. He writhes in pain.
Don't worry, he's well under control. He has made a fine servant. Isn't that right? Ingrate. I used him to find the Aetheran. When we're done, I'll release him from his duty and free him from his pain. Until then...
Dallas punctuates her statement with another wrist flip. Brachus shudders, but his lips remain curled in a self-satisfied grimace.
Suggests that stealing the source of the Seven weakened the gods and allowed Godwoken to appear. Bid them continue?
The Aetheran now contains almost all of the source the Seven stole. Soon, we will be able to heal the Veil.
The void shall be banished, and I, Lucian the Divine, shall return from the dead. A false divine, of course. I shall have no power, but the world will not know this. I shall demand peace, and we shall have it.
The plan is almost complete.
We have made so many sacrifices, Godwoken. All of us. Of ourselves and those we love. One last sacrifice is required. For the future of Rivellon, you must surrender your source.
Decide. Be the true hero and give up your source, or be forced to submit. Like a coward. Like a slave.
There is no other way. The source of the world is required to close the veil. All of the source. We only lack yours.
Where is like option? I want to give the source so I can go to the second stage of the fight. Note that giving up the source renders one silent monk a husk on self and non-being.
As I say, one last sacrifice is required. Yours.
Man, I don't know if... Alright, hurry them along. Enough talk.
More than enough. Far more. I will suffer him to live no longer.
Like, I don't even have an option to give that
unsheaths
source.
his weapon. He stands by your side with every muscle tensed, like a coiled spring. Fire blazes in his eyes as he looks to you for support.
Yeah, so that will happen last time. I pressed the wolf is hungry and he attacked and the fight started. So let me try this. Tell Ifan that the mind of man cannot take procedure when the universe is at stake. He cannot have his revenge.
You know what this means to me.
Ifan gives you a hard look. His fingers twitch on his weapon, and he hesitates.
But I trust my friends. More than I trust myself. And I trust that you merely delay my vengeance, not deny it outright.
Show some responsibility, Father! Surrender your source!
You'll be a hero. Everyone will know of the sacrifice you'll make. Your name will be synonymous with the survival of Rivellon.
The last time I obeyed Lucian, countless innocents died. Surrender my source. He should surrender his life.
But our souls? There has to be another way.
Yeah, we're gonna try to give the source. It's the right thing to do, you know it. The sacrifice is worth the price.
It's the right thing to do. You know it is. The sacrifice is worth the prize.
Okay. Let's surrender the source.
Yes, very good.
She raises what looks like a leash. A chuckle emerges from beneath Vrideman's hood. The chuckle becomes a guffaw, booming and hateful. Dallis flicks her wrist, and nothing happens.
Oh, Dallas. Sweet, simple Dallas.
How? What? The leash is cut!
A bright observation from a bilious imbecile. You know people often become sloppy when they're close to achieving their dream. You left the leashing wand next to me, you stupid maggot. So accustomed had you become to me, pretending to be your slave.
Kill him.
Do shut up, you tedious buffoon. And don't look so surprised. As if I would allow a bone bag to enslave me. Me!
Alright, confront him.
Yes, I am the one true king of the Source. He who shall be god of the Source. It is time for my divinity! Or did you really think I'd play slavishly along with your ridiculous scheme, Dallas? Yes, I played my part of the servile stooge. But know this. It was only about the power of divinity.
Kill him now.
Too late, you moldering, blight-stained pigs. Grant me power, my ally. God King, I call on you!
I don't know what that is. Let's try this. Tell Brachus to shut his goddamn mouth. Succeed!
You dare interrupt Brachus Rex? How novel. Who are you to challenge the Source King?
Tell him that you are Godwoken with the claim on divinity. He is an upstart, a relic, a pebble on the path. You shall put the great Source King back in his box.
Ah! You are the fetid dirt on my boot. You are nothing at all. I am the Source King. I shall rule.
Okay. Yeah. So we got to the second stage straight away, and I think now those guys gonna be helping me, and hopefully the fight will go better than last time.
The God King hears my call.
He sends a companion worthy of my power.
Come to your father, my pretty.
That's fucking.
Come to the Source King.
Alright, so he gonna summon fucking Swallow Man. Oh, he summons next to him, okay. The worst thing is they can all move before I can. And they on a high ground, fucking hell, man. But where are we? We on the other side. Okay, that's actually good. Okay, maybe we not in such a bad position actually. And I got bless. Alright, we'll see. See? They all helping me now. And back then everybody were fighting against me. So we only need to focus Brachus Rex, to be honest. So like those dudes are with me now. See, it's green. Fuck yeah. If we could get here. No. Okay. I'm gonna haste myself. She's really far. Then we can go here. Otherwise that fight is fucking damn brutal. Is Dwarf killing them? losing a lot, but
Glory is mine.
he's Bale. Brachus Rex, there you go. No. If he's gonna be... but I'm not standing in the blood. But yeah, fuck it. Now I'm standing in the blood. Perfect. Okay, and I'm just gonna go invisible. Friend now, right? All my friends. Ifan. Ifan. He cannot haste. Fuck, I thought I'll be able to move closer. Fuck. Should I drop Lucian in between them? No, that would be a bit too much. But man, I can't do anything from here. I need that fucking few steps closer. Can't get there. I don't know if that's enough. Path interrupted. Holy fuck. That would be such a nice throw. No. Oh, this fucking shit. Alright. Not in blood. There you go. Brachus Rex almost dead. Fuck you. Fucking Losa.
Brachus Rex, the Source King of Legend, lies dead once more. Perhaps even for good. Dallis, badly weakened, looks to you.
The future of all that is depends on you, and you alone.
So what we want to
So here we are, the end of it all.
Yeah, we wanna save, I think. to get different endings. Right.
Nobody I'd rather see this whole thing through with. I trust you. I trust your judgment.
Tell him you ensure his trust is well placed.
I know you will. I know you. Remember? You're the best damn friend I've ever had. Well then, let's do this.
This is it. I can hardly believe it.
She casts her gaze around the crypt in awe.
After everything we've been through, after everything we've seen, here we are. Here I am. And now that I see godhood before me, I know what I have to do. Chief, you need to ascend. There's no one I would trust with this responsibility but you. I know you'll do what needs to be done, what ought to be done. And I know you'll do it with style.
Tell her you won't fail her.
Hell, I could have told you that. You'll do great. By me and by my whole realm. I don't doubt that for a second. Now go on, shoo. You've got business to attend to.
You think back on your journey here, on all that you have seen and done. You think of the Magisters, and the sorcerers they hunted, and of the good and the evil on both sides. You think of how the Eternals came as Voidwoken to reclaim their stolen world. You look at the source around you. The power is immense. Divinity at your fingertips. You think of what you could do with such power. The rights you'd wrong, the wars you'd win. You marvel at your journey and how it has changed you. You think of those you left behind, and of those you met along the way, who stood by you or against you. It's time to choose your fate, and the fate of all you hold dear. What shall it be? Shall you be divine?
White hair and not Fane. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna fucking save here and see what happens. Take a deep breath and then claim divinity.
After all that you have been through, and all that you have done, all that you have become, the Aetheran lies in front of you. Divinity is yours to take. Or to sacrifice. What you do next decides your own fate and the future of the world. What shall you do with divinity?
So yeah, we're gonna do those three. Those are three different endings. So let's go with gild the source back to all people. Release divinity into the world. When everyone is divine, that no one is divine. One for all.
And so it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken. When the dust settled, no new divine had risen. Instead, all Source was released into the world for all the people and every creature to share. Everyone was now a sorcerer. And united, the peoples of Rivellon pushed back the God King into the very depths of the void. This ushered in a new golden age of peace and prosperity. But alas, it was not to last. With many greedy for wealth, power and position, the struggle soon began anew. Source, the very language of creation, was used in violence once more. The never-ending contest for power continued. As for me, my last hope of ever being freed of the God King's terrible tyranny faded when the Godwoken failed to seal the veil. An eternity of pain and suffering is mine, in service of the King, until the day I am freed,
the day the God King returns.
All right. So reload. Two more endings to see. But I wonder why it switched to Sabine. Okay, take the deep breath.
After all that you have, or to what you do, what should
fulfill
you
your
do
destiny
with
at Godwoken,
Divinity?
become the new divine. Reason. Let's see what that brings.
So it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken. A new divine rose, a true heir to the Seven, more powerful than ever, and united Rivellon in its battle against the Void. All across the realm, she was loved, worshipped, and adored. Humans, lizards, elves, and dwarves all rallied to her banner. The Great Allegiance stood once more, but the war continued.
Damn it!
From the depths of the Void, the God King still sought to return.
Damn you, God King.
As for me, my last hope of ever being freed of the God King's terrible tyranny faded when the Godwoken claimed divinity. An eternity of pain and suffering is mine. I cling now to the dream that one day the veil will be sealed, that one day I can be freed, that one day a new Godwoken will rise.
Damn it! Let's hope the last one is the fucking the best ending we can get. Holy shit. So funny. Alright, take a brief deep breath and
what should you do
allow
with
yourself
Divinity?
and all the world to be purged of its source. Supreme Sacrifice. Hopefully that's the one, guys. Veil is closed. God King is no more.
So it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken. Dallas the Hammer, the secret eternal, purged the Godwoken and used the source to close the veil to the void. The world was saved. Statues in memory of the Godwoken who sacrificed their source were erected all across Rivellon. They would never be forgotten. The half-demon Malady took pity on the soulless Godwoken silent monks and brought them to the Hall of Echoes. There, from the scraps of their souls that remained, she restored them to life. Sorcerers no more, they lived out the rest of their lives, freed of the burden of being the Godwoken. Freed from the weight of the world. As for me, the Godwoken sacrifice severed the link that bound the Sworn to the God King, and I was finally free.
There you go.
To atone for my sins, I spent the rest of my days taking care of the sick and elderly, telling the story of the Godwoken, that the world may never forget the greatest heroes Rivellon had ever seen.
All right. We are done.
I always thought that those who resorted to self-sacrifice were lacking in imagination. But I must admit, I was...
I won my trophies.
It gives me almost as much pleasure to speak to you as it does to be whole again.
Remark that it's good to see her. The Lady Vengeance has been a dependable ally.
I will always be an ally to those that carry Source, to those whose blood is of the heroes of old, and so, as always, I am at the ready.
Not silently, it's time to depart.
You look out to the endless beyond. The sun's light plays upon the waves, just as it always did. The sails flutter in the wind, just as they always will. And yet, something is different. And with a start, you realize where you must go next. You speak the command to the Lady Vengeance, and another chapter begins. At last, the world was at peace.
For honor.
As the races united behind Lucian, Arx remained the center of power.
Storyteller. Sorcerer.
The ancient lizard empire opened its gates. The houses disbanded, and the empire adopted a pluralist quasi-democracy.
Fine.
Anyone could vote for whoever they pleased, as long as the House of Shadows approved. With their queen dead and the Voidwoken gone, the dwarves held the greatest party in the history of dwarfdom. A new king took the throne, the local brewer. 6 days later, he was stabbed to death with a mutton fork. Lucian made amends to the elves. He gave them lands and vast riches from the coffers of the old divine order. But the elves never forgave him. They would not trust humans again.
That's awesome armor.
And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas, the Black Ring came together once more. The island of Fort Joy, the old redoute of the Source King Brachus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort. Reaper's Coast prospered. The fisheries returned, and the fertile farmlands produced the greatest harvests the surviving farmers had ever seen. Blood Moon Island became particularly fecund, its soil producing the greatest crops. A particularly crimson-fleshed orange grown on the island became a delicacy across half the world. The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood became a center of industry, trade, and transport. Lohar the dwarf became mayor. His time in office was cut short by an unfortunate wound that spontaneously appeared on his neck. Your lizard lover finally returned to the ancient lizard empire, there to found the newest and most popular of all the houses, the House of Love. Lagan left his over-demanding wife and began a relationship with a local bard. In the spirit of loving generosity, he returned the ring to his now ex-wife. In a fit of rage, she threw it into the sea.
We got it from the sea, right?
You would never forget Dorothea's kiss.
Oh no.
Dorothea herself left Driftwood for the ancient empire, ever in search of the perfect kiss. She never found it, although once or twice she came close. The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Arx became a great metropolis, famed for its prosperity, its culture, its diversity, and the willingness of its denizens to stab each other in the back for the slightest advantage. Sir Gareth thanked the surviving Seekers for their service and gave them their freedom. Disillusioned with peace, he set out alone to find a new purpose. He would never stop seeking. Young Han went into the theatre and became one of the realm's most popular actors. With no new divine, Malady found herself in a predicament. She had an important problem to solve, but no ally strong enough to call upon, and so her search continued. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again.
Nice, maybe we'll see him in Divinity 3.
Ahu the Wizard became one of Lucian's most trusted advisors once more. He always knew that something had changed in the divine. He never discovered what that was, or, if he did, he never said a word. With Amadia silent, the priestess Gratiana left the swamps and re-entered the world. She founded an abbey in the Dragonspine Mountains, offering the last of the undead shelter from fortune hunters, novelty seekers, and ghouls. Jehan the demon hunter found himself at a loose end, so he opened a museum of demonic artifacts. He made a fortune.
Man, that's a long ending.
With Lucian in power, Sahala took the elves away from the world. They grew strong once more amidst the trees of the regrown home forest. Some say her plans for revenge will bring about the end of days. Some say only Tova, her mother, holds her back. Lucian returned as divine, united the races, and became Lord Emperor of all Rivellon. Only Dallis knew that he was entirely powerless. Dallis and you. The Eternal, now known as Dallis, was a secret advisor to Lucian and to his successors. For eons she would walk in the world, and would outlive the peoples and all, and wander alone amongst the dying stars. With a small band of elves, Ifan ben Mezd replanted the lost elven forests. After the first fresh shoots broke the earth, he disappeared, and was never seen again. Some say Afrit, his soul wolf, walks the forests still.
Yeah, we didn't use much.
Sabine wandered the world. She became a household name, famed the realm over as a traveling hero, celebrated wherever she went. Enjoying life to the fullest, she was truly and finally free.
Awesome.
Lohse returned to her music and enjoyed a storied career as Rivellon's premier musician. Dark moods would at times overtake her, and she would spend long hours walking in the wilds. She always returned with a new song. And then there was you. In a world of peace, you could live forever. Your future was yours to decide. But you were a sorcerer no more. Did you accept your new status with gratitude, or did you rebel? Only you know the truth, you and one other. But of him you are free. The God King no longer calls your name. He no longer whispers your shame. Only you know if you atone for your sins.
Nice. Alright guys, so what happens is, so we're missing one trophy. So what I'm going to do is, off camera, I'm going to play and get to the point where we deal with Isbale and Queen Justinia and see if I can trigger the invitation on Fane. If that doesn't work, I think I'm just gonna start another playthrough on a simplest difficulty and just rush to the end to get that trophy. So that's the idea. We'll see what it is in next episode. I'll explain. I probably will see you after dealing with Queen Justinia and to see if that can be triggered. And yeah, we're gonna get the platinum then. So guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.